Using that logic, then, Steve Harker has lane choice, has had the better car, has been the #1 qualifier all weekend long. So Steve Gasparelli has a little bit of work to do in that Gearhead Planet machine.
Yeah, the Gasparelli family loves coming here to this racetrack. They were the last man standing in 2006 with it. And of course, they know that Steve Harker, right now, from a performance standpoint, might be the second best car in the class. Ran a 554 recently with us. They bumped it over 260 miles an hour. They got their sights set on Frank Manzo, and all you can do is just continue to take care of your business, win around, and continue to add up the points. They know that Jay has already done that, and of course, Jay and Harker, as we mentioned, both running for that championship this season, hoping that somewhere along the line, Frank Manzo proves that he's human. We're not sure that he is, but
no, I would have to agree with that. Good look down the quarter mile. You see the finish line down there. That's what Steve Harker in the left lane, Steve Gasparelli are fighting for in the right lane. Who's going to get there first and move on to the semis and face Roger Bateman? We are just about to find out as the RPMs come up. He seems to be in a real big hurry here. Dead even off the starting line, but at the finish line, way too much Steve Harker, 5:65.2. That represents low elapsed time of the entire race, which makes that a very, very good run.
yes, that was impressive. When we look at all the other guys in that 68 and 69 range, your 300's better. Like, that's light years in this class. Had a great run right there. Very solid move for both drivers, pretty much dead even off the starting line. 574 for Steve Gasparelli. That's not too bad. When everybody else is pitching 60s out there, you're going to be a car length or two behind at the finish line. Nice move, little bit of tire shake there, but certainly not much as he opts to take that left-hand side of the racetrack. Swerve there when he gets it into high gear, but aims it right down the center of the lane at the top end. Runs low ET, like you said, not only of the round, but of the event.
And look at that roof flap there. Didn't quite get that thing stuck down. The reaction from the daughters. Oh yeah, Big Daddy O's moving on into the semifinals, where he will choose his lane over Roger Bateman on one side of the ladder.
And with that 65, as you mentioned, Dave, it was the low elapsed time thus far of this round, and I'm sure that pumps you up, gives you a little confidence. But you heard the comments of Roger Bateman. He thinks he's going to be able to hang with you.
Yeah, I think he will. They got a new combination there, and he's just creeping up on it. It's the same deal as ours, so he's a tough competitor, and we'll have to watch out for him. You know, the OMS graphics, Lucas Oil, Southern Safety Supply car, it's running good. It's doing what we do, and I want to thank the crew. They're doing a fantastic job helping me turn it around.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
You're looking at Roger Bateman. Will he have the same kind of luck in knocking off the #1 qualifier, Steve Harker, another one of those guys that needs to pick up points, or at least, you know, go as many rounds as he can, certainly with Frank Manzo not on the property?
Yeah, well, he was #3 in the points coming in, was Harker. And the Bateman team, as we said earlier, that best engineered car. They got the new Ford Mustang. A lot of guys like that new approach. But Steve Harker, as you heard a lot of the other drivers say, and we've talked to during the course of the weekend, right now, with the exception of Frank, this is the best car performance-wise, consistently. He's already been to 4 finals, both on the national and divisional level this season so far. Finished 5th in the points last year in the Lucas Oil standings. That's the #5 on the side, but he's going to get a real test here. Brian Friesen has put together a really good race team here with Roger Bateman driving, and with Ken Murray doing the tuning, him coming down from Alberta up in Canada. And right now, this should be a pick-em, even though we saw Harker have the better of the 2 cars in that second round when he was a couple of hundredths better than everybody.
Still plenty of sticky heat out there on the racetrack. It makes it a little bit greasy. Who will have the better tune-up and get set to take on Sean O'Bannon, who looks for his first top alcohol funny car win? We're going to find out here as the stage lights come on and the RPMs begin to climb. Color this one up. Steve Harker streaks down the racetrack. 562, 256, and that is now the lowest elapsed time of the weekend. He just keeps getting better.
Yes, he does. As Ken Murray taking a look back at his race car and going, well, we just didn't have enough right there for him. But Harker goes through with a 562. You qualify #1, then you run low ET in the second round, then you run low ET of the weekend in the third round. I mean, like we said, right now, that is the race car to beat going into the championship round. Little sachet right there on the right side. Not quite as severe as we saw from Jay Payne. And ironically, after watching cars struggle on the other side of the racetrack earlier, 2 cars back-to-back here. This Ford here with Roger Bateman and Jay's Mustang before that. Little tire shake, that's going to get you out of the groove. When the other guy's running 62, you can see the throttle plates going open and shut on the injectors right there, and then he's just kind of cruising down at the top end of the track.
Toss on 256 miles an hour. That's the best of the weekend. And Steve Harker is into the final for our top alcohol funny cars. Handing out the hardware to either Steve Harker, who's the red car on the left side of the racetrack, or to Sean O'Bannon over on the right.
Intriguing matchup. Steve Harker went to the final round here last year, came out on the short side. Very strong running race car. He's been to the finals 9 times, only closed the deal once, but he's never had a race car as good as what he has right here. There's his road to the final 4, to the final round. And Sean O'Bannon, who won this race in the alcohol dragster class a few years ago, switched over to this new Monte Carlo body, went to the Lucas Oil race and Mission Raceway in Canada last week. Lost down the finals to Clint Thompson, but they've come here and been running very well from a performance standpoint. It's as good a race car in the funny car class as Sean's had to come to the starting line. Having said that, he is still the better part of 500 or 600s down to the Harker family. As Diane and Kate looking on and watching to see what Dad can do. If he can keep pace with that Frank Manzone, move up to number 2 in the points.
Amazingly, Steve Harker only has 1 national event win to his credit. Meanwhile, the guy on the other side has won 3 times, but that in a top alcohol dragster. If he can win today an alcohol funny car, he'll join an exclusive list. There's only 10 guys to win in both of the categories. Here we go. Nope. Steve Harker is going to take the trophy. 564, 256. And for the Harker clan, they are plenty excited. Their dad now has national event win number 2.
Let me tell you, Sean O'Bannon goes 569. They were dead even off the starting line. That's a pretty good old drag race, but by half track, just about the time you said nope, Steve Harker was a car length out in front and drives away. A flawless performance here this weekend for Steve Harker, running out of that number 1 fine spot. So he goes 1, he goes low ET, goes top speed. Didn't leave a lot on the table for the rest of the team. Little bitty tire shake right there, but just like we've seen in the earlier rounds, he navigates that well, keeps it under control, straight down the center of the lane, and this is a thing of beauty here. I mean, that is his best performance, even including that one where he beat Todd Vinny in Bristol.
One thing I know O'Bannon was counting on, a worse light than the 031 that Steve Harker just cut. He was about a half a hundredth behind that earlier. If he would have gone into the 090s, O'Bannon would have stolen right there. But as it is, it's Steve Harker with that 564 picking up that much, much needed win and trying to keep pace. Frank Manzo, and remember, we will see him at our next Lucas Oil Series event in Chicago.
And we'll see Steve Harker. We'll see Jay Payne, the O'Bannon gang, making that trek a couple of 100 miles from here, too. So that'll be a fun race next weekend. Steve Harker, like I said, with his 2nd national event win, but right now running very well. One of the very few cars that can say that they almost can run with Frankie. Ran 554 earlier this season. That's a pretty impressive performance, and he's driving well.
Let's go down to the far end where Gary's got our winner.
Boy, the consistency of this car and this team has been oh so impressive this weekend at Topeka. National event win number 2. Steve, is this one better than the first one?
Everyone's better than the first one. This is fantastic. OMS Graphics, Lucas Oil, Southern Safety Supply, the crew just doing a brilliant job. Making this car turn around and repeat, and I'm just happy to be here. It's fantastic.
Is this the best race car you've ever had?
It is, yeah. It's this old car's really coming around. It's like a vintage red wine. It just gets better with age.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice. 566, 565, 562, 564 en route to the trophy. A pretty impressive day.